Welcome to this video lecture series on transportation engineering. In this session, we shall discuss on the highway cross-sectional elements. The various elements of a highway cross-section are as follows. First, the carriageway. Second, the shoulder. Third, the roadway width. Fourth, right-of-way. Then next, fifth is the building line. Sixth, the control line. 7. Median. 8th is the camber or the cross slope. 9 is the crown. 10 the side slope. 11 is the curb. 12 guardrail. 13 is the side drain, and lastly the other facilities which are required in the highway construction. Now first, to discuss what actually is a carriageway. The carriageway is a road or a travel way which is used for the movement of the vehicles to take the vehicular loadings. This carriageway, it can be constructed by the type of the cement concrete road or the bituminous pavement, and the width of the carriageway can be determined on the basis of the width of the vehicle and the minimum side clearance for the safety. That means the type of road width required will depend upon the type of the nature of the vehicles moving in the area or the proposed vehicle to move on that road. As per the Indian Road Congress, the maximum width of the vehicle is 2.44 meters with the minimum clearance of 0.68 meters in the case of a single lane and 1.02 meters in case of a double lane road. So this minimum clearance, it should be set while fixing the width of the carriageway. Next, we shall see the details regarding the width of the carriageway. As seen from the table, the width of the carriageway, first, for a single lane it should be 3.75 meters. When it is a two lane without the raised curbs, the width of the carriageway should be 7 meters. For the two lane with the raised curbs, 7.5 meters, and intermediate lane with a total width of 5.5 meters. And if it is a multi-lane pavement, then it should be 3.5 meters per lane. Means whatever is the n number of lane road, the width of every lane, it should be at least 3.5 meters. Now next is the width of the roadway for the various classes of roads. Now for a national highway and a state highway, the road width for a plain and rolling terrain and mountainous and steep terrain are as follows. If it is a single lane, then the width for a plain and rolling terrain, it should be 12 meters. If it is a mountainous and a steep terrain, it should be 6.25 meters. For a two-lane road, again 12 meters and 6.25 meters respectively. Next is for the major district road. In a major district road with a single lane, the plain and rolling terrain roadway width should be 9 meters, whereas for mountainous and steep terrain it should be 4.75 meters. Similarly, for the two-lane road, the width of the plain and rolling terrain, it will be 9 meters, and for the mountainous and steep terrain 4.75 meters respectively. Third, for the ordinary district road, the single lane road, the roadway width will be 7.5 meters for the plain and rolling terrain, whereas 4.75 meters for the mountainous and steep terrains. For the two lane road, 9 meter and 4.75 meters respectively. Next, for the village roads with the single lane, the plain and rolling terrain roadway width will be 7.5 meters, whereas the mountainous and steep terrain will be of 4 meters. Here we can see an image of the carriageway for a two-lane, two-way road. From the figure, it can be seen that we have a two lane. This is lane 1 and lane 2. Here, one lane can be these two lanes. They actually allow the vehicles to move in the two different directions. Here, the two lanes allow the vehicles to move in the two different directions. So, two lane, two-way road. Next is the shoulder. Now, shoulders, they basically are provided along the road edge in order to serve as an emergency lane for the vehicles, and it acts as a service lane for the vehicles that are broken down. The minimum width of 4.6 meters, so that the truck which is stationary at the side of the road shoulder would have a clearance of 1.85 meters from the pavement edge should be provided. The recommendations as far as the Indian Road Congress is that the minimum shoulder width of 2.5 meters should be provided, and it should have sufficient load bearing capacity even in the rainy season in order to allow the vehicles to be stationary in case of any mechanical problems. The surface of the shoulder, it should be rough than the traffic lanes, so that the vehicles are discouraged to use the shoulder as a regular traffic lane, and the color, it should be different from that of the pavement so that it can be distinguished. As you can see from this figure, there is the provision of the shoulder which allows the vehicle to use in case if there is any mechanical problem with the vehicle, and in case of traffic congestion, it can be used as an extra lane for the vehicles to move. Similarly, we can see the provision of a cycle track and a footpath which can allow or divert the specific types of traffic, that is the people moving on the cycle and the pedestrian, so that they can make the use of the footpath and the cycle tracks, which will reduce the undue congestion of the traffic on the roads. Here we can see the picture of the untreated shoulder and the treated shoulder. Here only the laying of the waterbound macadam road is being done, whereas in case of a treated shoulder, the layer of the bituminous pavement is being provided above the gravel road. Next is the width of roadway or formation width. The width of the roadway or the formation width can be defined as the sum of the width of the carriageway or the pavement, including the separators, if any, and the shoulders. That means it includes the shoulders at the sides, then the carriageway at the center, and the shoulders. Next, right of way. Right of way, it is the total area of the land acquired for the road along its alignment, and it depends upon the importance of the road and the possible future development. It is also desirable to acquire more width of the land, as the cost of the adjoining land invariably increases highly soon after the new highway it is being constructed. So this right of way, it depends upon the total acquisition of the land along the alignment of the road. Next, building lane. Now, In order to reserve the sufficient space for the future development of the road, it is desirable to control the building activities on either side of the road boundary beyond the land width acquired by the land. So here it should be read as the building line, and building line, it basically refers to the actual start of the construction work of the building from the edge of the road. And this distance, this setback distance, is basically been decided depending upon the width of the road and the type of road. That means if it is a national highway, state highway, etc. Next, control lines, and these are the in addition to the building line, and they are desirable to control the nature of the building up to further setback distances. Control lines basically are provided in order to have an excess area for the parkings, and they are at 1.5 into the building line distance. That means if 3 meter is the distance of the building line from the edge of the road to the actual start of the building work, then 3 into 1.5, that equals to 4.5 meters, will be the control line of that particular building from the edge of the road. Next is traffic separators or the medians. Now the main function of these traffic separators or the medians is to prevent the head-on collision between the vehicles moving in the opposite direction. They channelize the traffic into the streams at intersection, and they segregate the slow traffic and protect the pedestrian. The Indian Road Congress recommends a minimum desirable width of 5 meters and may be reduced up to 3 meters where the land is restricted. The minimum width of the median in the urban area is 1.2 meters. So these are the medians or the separators, which you commonly call them even as dividers. So here we have a picture of a 4-lane divided carriageway or a dual carriageway. Next, cross slope or camber. The cross slope or camber is a slope provided to the road surface in the transverse direction in order to drain off the rainwater from the road surface. It prevents the entry of the surface water into the subgrade soil through the pavement by draining the water from the top surface as early as possible. And it also prevents the entry of the water into the bituminous pavement layer. As we know that water, if it percolates into the bituminous pavement layer, it weakens the surface of the bitumen and causes the potholes. It also is being used to remove the rainwater from the pavement surface as quick as possible and to allow the pavement to get dry soon after the rains. The cross slopes or the cambers, they are expressed in percentage or in the form of 1 vertical as to n horizontal. And the camber or a cross slope depends on the pavement surface and the amount of rainfall in the area wherein the road has to be constructed. The shape of the cross slope. The cross slope of the camber, it can be provided in the form of a parabolic shape for the fast moving vehicles. Second, a straight line. And third is the combination of the parabolic and the straight line. Certain recommended values of the camber for the different types of road surfaces. First is the cement, concrete and high type bituminous pavement. The range of camber in the areas of rainfall. First, heavy, it will be 1 in 50 or 2%, and second is light, 1 in 60 or 1.7%. Second, thin bituminous surface for the heavy rainfall range will be 1 in 40 or 2.5%, and for light 1 in 50 or 2%. Third is the waterborne macadam or the gravel pavement. In this case, for the heavy rainfall range, the camber will be 1 in 33 or 3%, and for the light surfaces it will be 1 in 40 or 2.5%. Lastly, for the earthen roads, the camber provision will be 1 in 25 or 4% and 1 in 33 or 3%. If you just observe here, as the type of pavement or the road surface is provided, depending upon the materials used and the construction methodology, there is a change into the provision of the camber or the cross slope. If we just compare the earthen road and that of the cement concrete or high bituminous road pavement, here we can observe it clearly that the slope of 1 in 50 is required for the cement concrete or high type of bituminous pavement, whereas the earthen road, it requires a cross slope of 1 in 25 or of 4%. That means there has to be an increase into the cross slope provided, just in order to drain out the water as soon as possible. With this, we shall stop here. Thank you.